Hey, so part two of the eating disorder videos, or treatment facility videos. Sorry. I don't know why I'm so excited. It was kind of a difficult thing. I guess I'm just excited that I'm in a better place now and I can talk about it and I'm not ashamed about it. So I guess that's why I feel excited. It's a little bit embarrassing. Anyway, so I think where we left off was had to have our contraband in by 7. Then we would head down to the dining room. Breakfast was at 7:25, so we would kind of take that time to journal, or we also had sheets that we would have to fill out in the morning of how we were feeling that day, what our goal was for the day. Oftentimes, one of my goals was to cry, and I know that sounds strange, but I hold so much in, and I still continue to hold a lot in, but it was worse then. So oftentimes I was that happy person and supportive and there for everybody, and oftentimes, I was struggling and I was lonely. And so my goal was to cry so that I could start to get to the deeper issues. And that was really, really important for me. Even though that was a strange goal, I really needed to have those breakthroughs and to get it out. So meals in general, it was set up kind of like a buffet line, like at a cafeteria. So we would get a tray, and the kitchen staff would serve our meals, and they had what our exchanges were from the dietitian. So my meal could look very different from the person next to me. Oftentimes, people that were underweight not only had a larger portion of food, but they also had multiple drinks. So they had to drink milk, and then Gatorade to keep their potassium up. And then they had to drink, I want to say something else, but there were some people that had like 3 different drinks, as well as, they had to drink what was called a supplement, which is a high calorie drink to help them get more calories in. So that's what the third one was. So we would sit in groups of maybe 4 or 5, and then it would also have a nurse sitting at the table, and they would watch us and try and engage us in conversations, but also keep an eye on eating disorder behaviors. Examples of eating disorder behaviors would be cutting your food into small pieces, tearing food apart. So for instance, if you got a hamburger, you're supposed to eat it like a hamburger or a sandwich, whereas people with an eating disorder behavior might tear it apart and eat it that way. They don't feel comfortable eating food in a normal or traditional manner. One of my eating disorder behaviors that was hard for me to get over was eating fresh fruit. I, especially when I came into the treatment center, had not been eating fresh fruit whatsoever. So the taste was hard to get used to because sometimes it felt sour and it was different than the sugar and corn syrup that I was used to. So that was a difficult one. You were required to eat everything on your plate and drink all of your drinks. And if you did not finish your food, you were supplemented with a high calorie drink to make up for the food that you didn't eat. Again, I didn't really struggle with that because I don't struggle eating food. But there was one time I almost got supplemented, and it was on that fruit. I was given, I think they were nectarines, and I've never really eaten nectarines, and I wasn't sure about the skin, if you're really supposed to eat it or not, and it was kind of gross. So I ate the fruit and left a little pile of skins on there. Sorry, I'm gagging thinking about it. It was nasty. So I justified it as, I ate the fruit, I didn't eat the skin. So they caught me and they confronted me and said, you need to eat the skins or you'll be supplemented. So that's the rules. And the high calorie drink is pretty gross from what I hear. So I just took a chug of water and swallowed the skins, and it was nasty. Okay, let's move on. So, let's see. There were rules there, like no food talk, because that can be triggering for some people. So if I were to talk about, in my past, I used to eat all this candy and this or that or this or that, it would really upset people or offend them or whatever. So no food talk, no talk about sizes or calories, anything like that. And often between meals and snacks, we would have groups and classes. So we would have group therapy once a week, and we would have music therapy once a week. We had yoga once a week, Tai Chi once a week. We had to go to the pool 2 or 3 times a week. That was not my favorite for a couple different reasons. But the whole point of going to the pool was to work on body image for everybody, because even though someone might be thin, they're still going to feel self-conscious about their body. So we had to dress in our swimming clothes. I didn't have a bathing suit because it's hard to find bathing suits in my size. But I had shorts and a tank top that I would dress in. And I never got in the water. I was always, so for instance, you get in the water and then you can't go back and take a shower or do your hair or anything like that. So I was always, I don't want to say self-conscious, but I just felt more comfortable if I would have been able to take a shower after, get the chlorine off my body, which grosses me out, and do something with my hair. But that's not really part of it. And I get it. So oftentimes I would just sit by the pool and read a book. Let's see. I'm trying to think of what other classes we had. The music therapy class, we would listen to songs and talk about what the song brought up, feelings wise, and Tai Chi was pretty easygoing and oftentimes had a meditation. We had, one of our teachers was a Native American medicine woman, and she was awesome. And so she taught a few different classes. So she did drumming, which was really cool. And then she also did what was called medicine wheel, where she brought in Native American healing techniques. So she would do smudging with the burning sage, and she would burn sweetgrass, and that was really good. Rosewood also has a 12-step based program. So we would do the Serenity Prayer quite often throughout the day, as well as had AA meetings, ED meetings, or EDA meetings, so Eating Disorder Anonymous, and I thought we had one more, forgetting something. Oh, we had Narcotics Anonymous too. And so that was good. And I think that's a good stopping point for part 2. So stay tuned for part 3.